Hey everybody, this is Tell True Sports Radio. I'm your host, Rod Fitch, and I'm in the process of redoing everything on my show and getting everything all set up. But I wanted to talk about last week. I wanted to give my take. I'm going to be back in the groove now. And everybody's talking about how the Cinderella didn't advance and you had small upset. Arkansas over St. John's wasn't a big upset because Arkansas, which is a team that just underachieved because they had moving parts and they all got healthy and all came together at the right time. They beat Kansas, which I knew was going to be a problem game for St. John's. And I always root for John Calipari in the tournament. But this is the one time against St. John's I didn't because it's more family. I love the Welchers, both Simeon and CJ. So I rooted for Texas A&M and St. John's. Now I'll root for Calipari going forward. I believe they're going to beat Texas Tech, but the key was this game. They got out rebounded badly, but their half court offense was more organized, and St. John's missed every layup humanly possible. I mean, my goodness. When Adjafor missed a layup with 3:26 left, chance to tie the game, they tie the game, the whole game changes. With all the missed layups, St. John's back in it, and maybe Patino puts a star in back in the game. But Billy Richmond hit a 12-foot jumper to go up 6-8, 6-4 game. And then Arkansas was able to wrestle the game away, and they did what they had to do. But what hurt was RJ Lewis was bad. I hope he comes back. I really do. I really hope he comes back uh, because Kentucky. I remember last year Kentucky had a bad game, and DJ Wagner had a bad game. DJ Wagner gets that experience. He had that tournament experience. St. John's didn't have that. I would love to see him come back. Him and Pitino talk it out. Hey, listen, you're gonna be better for this. You're not going through for 17. If you come back, we're gonna make another run. St. John's has a ton of NIL money. They're going to still be good, but I think what happened with hurt St. John's when you win the Biggie. I'm not making excuses. This is just reality because my show is called Tell the Truth Sports Radio. When you win the Big East tournament in the Garden, you haven't won in a long time. That's your home court. You're in New York City, and all the celebs out. That is such an emotional high. You got to do a turnaround and win an easy game and then beat a tough Arkansas team. Number one, that's tough. Number two, Arkansas had the style to beat St. John's with the size, with the ability to block shots, make them take a lot of bad missed layups, thinking about uh, the big guys of Arkansas. And then St. John's couldn't put that pressure, that second half pressure on the guards because Davis and Wagner and Bookie Flan, they were able to just break that all game long. And then Welcher got in foul trouble because they're like, "What happened to your boy?" One of my boys said, "What happened to your boy Welcher, man? He got in foul trouble." And he's going to be better for this. He's got another year to play. He's going to come back in a tournament and play much better. Tournament experience is important. It's hard to do the Fab Five thing now with the transfers and playing upperclassmen, older guys, better competition. And Arkansas was able to move on. I mean, it happens. And I believe they're going to, greatest topping is, there's a lot of toppings in basketball. As great as Texas Tech is and their style, people saying their kind of style is going to give Arkansas trouble. I just believe in Arkansas that they're going to at least get to Florida. The Florida UConn game was, other than Arkansas St. John's how intense that was, the Florida UConn game was basketball at a high level because UConn got their Florida got UConn's A game. I knew this was going to be a tough game because of how difficult it is to coach against Dan Hurley's style of play and how they move the ball at all times, how disciplined they are all game long. You might see teams break off and miss assignments and not take good shots. UConn took good shots most of the game until toward the end. And I'm gonna tell you something about Florida. And this is what I loved about how good they are. Walter Clayton Jr. hit two hellaciously and big 3-pointers to put them up. And that was the key to the game. Them 2 3-pointers with the shot clock go down, all net. He's he's the best guard in the country. Okay. So there's no crime in losing the best guard in the country. And UConn went cold. And it was time's up. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You defended your crown well. And Dan Hurley did a great job. Now, hopefully the older he gets, the more he kind of calms down a little bit. Everybody gets on his behavior and stuff. Hopefully age and maturity, you can still be intense, but you start to age gracefully and not get in unnecessary skirmishes or have unnecessary emotional outbursts. Refine your game. You're already one of the best coaches in basketball. Kind of refine it. I've seen coaches in high school get older and they pick their spots when it comes to emotional outbursts because you can still be intense. That's part of your personality, which is cool. But I just like to see him calm down a little bit because he's such a great coach. And don't do anything extra and unnecessary. Now, another great game was, which it didn't have to be. Maryland made the game harder than it should have been against Colorado State because guards don't pass the ball inside enough. Queen got the ball a couple times, kicked about out, they double team, reposts. He reposted and get the ball back. A lot of times when you repost, the double teaming defender does not come over as quick because they're not used to that. Now he gets the chance to operate, and they went away from it, and they were very lucky that Queen and Reese inside. They'll go along with the great, solid guard play. But Queen, everybody said he traveled. It was such a quick play. I didn't even see that he took an extra half step. That was a beautiful play by Queen. He's a clutch player because he came from Clutch High School. I mean, look at all the great players that have come from Mount Verde. Just, woo! And that was just a great high school. They had a great team. And you see Cooper Flag, why Duke is going to be very hard to beat. Maryland, Florida is a great game. I don't think Maryland has enough. I don't think they're disciplined. To me, Florida has the bigs that could go toe to toe with Queen and Reese. And it's going to be very with Golden and what they have inside. Florida is complete. They have the shooting, they have the guards, they have the bigs, they have the rebounding, and they run some of the best inside-out plays where the center, either the bigs, the big-to-big passing, and the interior is superb. And then their little backdoor screens they run, their screen and go plays that they run are superb. And their defense, how they tighten up toward the end of games, is just it's championship level. I don't know if they're beating Duke because Duke overwhelms you with their talent. Florida overwhelms you with their discipline and how solid they are both ends and how deep they are and how complete they are. Duke just overwhelms you with the all-time great Cooper Flag and the great shooters and what they have. Everybody's predicted Florida and Duke. I'm not sure. And in the South, I'm a Tahad Pettiford guy, and he has to get turned up every time. I love Broom and all them other guys on Auburn, but he is the key. When he explodes, Auburn separates itself. And he's going to have this. You know what this is going to be about? Auburn, Michigan. It's going to be about Tahad versus Wolf, because Wolf, they beat Texas A&M, and I was hoping that that C.J. Welcher was going to get off. He had a 3. I don't think they gave him the ball enough because I like to make sure a 3-point specialist, I want to feed him. I want to run set plays where he can sneak open and break a game open with a couple threes. They didn't really do that. Michigan Auburn is going to be a great game. You know what's going to come down to? Playmaking. Wolf, because both Auburn and Michigan got bigs. It's going to come down to Wolf and Pettiford. Check their plus minus. Check their assists. Check their turnovers. Check their shots. Check their shooting percentage. Check their point total. Check all that. Whoever plays better is going to win that game. And then Ole Miss and Michigan State. You know what, Michigan State, I noticed, and those guys are always kind of rugged, hard-nosed, physical. This is the most athletic Michigan State team I've seen in a while. They go up and down the court. Most of the time, this is kind of they still play tough Coach Izzo basketball, but you've added a little athleticism with Richardson and Zapala. They get up and down and they bring it home in that 14 points. They're better when they're running. I believe they're going to take out Ole Miss. Is it going to be a Michigan State regional final? I don't know. I like Auburn, Michigan State. Then in the East is the Duke Invitational because Arizona is a good team. Arizona's going to be, I think it's going to be a decent game. It's going to be like a 10 to 15 point game throughout. Duke's not going to just run them Arizona into oblivion like they did Baylor, but it might be a type where it'll be 6 to 10 point game. The Duke pulls away late to win by 15. I think it's going to be one of those games. I think Arizona puts up a decent fight. Too much Duke. No. BYU and Alabama is going to be the best game of the tournament. Great offense. I did not know Grant Nelson was healthy. I had BYU advancing. I'm not sure. I'm going to do another show to break that down even more. But that's Duke's reaching the win. I picked Tennessee to beat Houston. Tennessee and Kentucky gave Tennessee trouble. I watched both matchups. They gave it to Tennessee. But Ziegler is going to lead them, I believe. And then Purdue is going to be in Indianapolis playing Houston. Houston's a better team, but man, home court, you just never know. I believe it's going to be Duke, Tennessee, Florida, which I'm rooting for Arkansas, but I'm going with Florida. And then I'm going Auburn. And those are my picks. I'm going to do another show. I'm going to try to get Georgetown G. Smith to come on to break everything down. We're trying to do everything before, but the audio didn't work. So I'm going to try to do that now. I'm going to keep trying to improve. I want you to like and subscribe. I'm going to keep trying to improve, get everything set up. It's just the kindergarten phase here on the show. We're redoing the show. I got more people. I had more people before, but I'm looking to really go next level. So this is the first one of many good ones.